This is a
Squad.
We rockin' now for real. BS3 Sports. Okay, sports news, get it first when you're getting off of work. Even when you're at work, acting like you're working hard when you're hardly working. I'm a maverick like Dirk, getting Franklins like Kirk. Hold up, boy. X-Squad, you don't know them boys? Being talking facts on every topic. Overall, we just talking noise, just being boys. Covering Texas sports in them tall heels. That with the fake pass over to Elliott. Better guard your grills like a car for real. Yeah, Cowboys gonna bring a bowl back, Lord willing. Yeah, Mavericks gonna bring a ring back with Mark in it. We live sports, we talk sports, we dream sports, we eat sports. The teacher about to teach the course. Welcome to BS3 Sports. Gross. Oh man, yeah.
Welcome to the weekend wrap-up show, episode 128. Toronto loves Kawhi. They want Kawhi to stay, I think, more than they want anything ever in their lives. Probably as close to Vince Carter that they want Kawhi to stay. So we'll be talking about NBA playoffs. We got a lot to get into. We got a lot to talk about. We got Major League Baseball news as well. We've got UFC 237 that went down this weekend. We got the Benny Awards at the end of the show. You can put them in the chat room whenever you're ready. We got NBA news. Lakers found a head coach. So we got a great show. Let's get right into it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We got the first person in the chat room said Galloway with that title, always. I would say 99.5% of the time he's first in the chat room. Mocha Bella in the building. Raider Kev in the building. Thank you guys for tuning in. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into that game-winning shot by Kawhi. First of all, in the corner, that wasn't an easy shot, first of all. He was being D'd up on, second of all. And then third of all, he was fading away, hitting the shot. And that's pressure. You know, you want to talk about pressure. You want to talk about how you handle things under pressure. You want to talk about how you deal with adversity, how you deal with situations like this. And Kawhi handled it like a pro. He handled it like someone that has done this before. And it was a close game. It was a close game. It was a battle. They ended up winning by 2 points, 92-90. But Kawhi showed who's the boss. He showed who's the boss. And that, you know, people are now today talking about that's the greatest game-winning shot. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest game-winning shot, but I am gonna say that it is one of the greatest. Also, you just think of the way the ball bounced around on the rim, the way everybody's on pins and needles. Every single person in that arena was on pins and needles trying to see if he was going to make that shot. But it was epic, though. You cannot deny, in your brain, in your mind, you cannot deny how epic of a shot that was and how dramatic it was. The way it went down. But that, Kawhi did it like a boss. And, you know, Philly played good basketball. They played good basketball. They played down to the end of the game. But when it finally came all down to it, they didn't have it. They just could not ultimately get the deal done. And this is a game 7. So you know what that means? That they've had 6 other opportunities to win this. They had a full entire game. Granted, like I said, they were D'ing up on Kawhi, but they still had all those other minutes before that game ended. So as much as we want to talk about the outcome of the game and that last second or last minute, there was a lot of things that led up to that. And it wasn't just that portion of the game that we can necessarily call out and say that just because of that reason they won, even though, you can say that reason was because they won, because he did hit the jumper. Also, let me pause. Excuse my manners. Let me pause. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Pray and hope that all the mothers enjoyed their day yesterday. Raider Kev says, that's the shooter's touch. That's a bad man. Shout out to my pops. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Kawhi, man. That's what I'm saying. Kawhi, and specifically Toronto, is going to do whatever it takes to keep him. He's becoming more important than Vince Carter in just 1 year. I think and Vince Carter to Toronto, in just 1 year, he's becoming extremely important to them, extremely valuable. Kyle Lowry, you know how Kyle Lowry does. When it comes to playoff time, he starts to sometimes disappear. We all know this. It's only facts that I'm speaking right now. We know this, that Kyle Lowry does that. So to have Kawhi, I think, is huge for them. And they could possibly make it to the NBA Finals. The Toronto Raptors going to the NBA Finals. Who with a straight face could have said that out of their mouth? But let's break down the stats. You know how I do it. I'm a stats guy. Kawhi with 41. Pascal Siakam with 11. Kyle Lowry with 10, with 1 for 7 from the three. Serge Ibaka 17 off the bench. I talked about this on Friday's show. What did Philly need in order to be successful? Shout out to Melvin in the building. Also, H-Rap B, Big Mo. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Sluggo in the building as well. X-Squad, Squad Up. Here it is. If you have Joel Embiid was able to give you a good game, you had a chance. And he had 21 and 11. Ben Simmons had 13. Jimmy Butler had 16. Personally, I would say that that's not enough. JJ Redick had 17. Tobias Harris had 15. Toronto playing this game at home. Home games mean different. Home games are different for the players. Home games are different for the refs. Let's all be honest. And home games are different for the crowd. If you got that crowd behind you, anything is possible. And like Raider Kev said, shooter's touch. 100%. He had that touch on the ball. And especially as that ball was going through the air, and he's, Kawhi is kneeling down. He's almost in like a squat position, like a catcher, looking to see what was going to happen with that. And that ball bouncing around, I'm sure for them, it seemed like it took ages for that ball to fall into the net. But when it did, the crowd inside and outside of that arena went bananas, which it should. Which it 100% should. These Raptors fans have been through it up, down, in and out. They've experienced the heartbreak. They've experienced getting swept. They've experienced being called LeBronto. They've experienced all of this. So for them, I'm happy for those fans. I'm not a Toronto Raptors fan. You guys should probably already know that. I'm not a Toronto Raptors fan at all. But I would 100% say this. For them to get this win, the fans have got to be beyond excited just for what they were able to accomplish, what their team was able to accomplish last night. So, shout out to the Toronto Raptors, to Kawhi, and to this team for getting over that hump. Melvin says, was Embiid lying on a dude's shoulder for losing a series? Melvin's guys will go down, abs go hard. And And Embiid was heartbroken. Embiid was heartbroken. Embiid was, which we're all human. We're all human. Let's not crucify Embiid because he was crying on live TV. Because if some of us would have been in that spot, I guarantee you we would have been boo-hooing and crying, asking for a tissue ourselves. Now, Embiid, though, is a different situation because Embiid loves to talk trash. So he's going to get it in return because that's just the way it goes. But let's not fool ourselves and say that we wouldn't be potentially crying after losing a Game 7 that we should not have lost. It shouldn't even gone to a Game 7 based on what they have on paper. So shout out to Embiid. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough loss to take. My pop says Sixers played their hearts out. We forgot about how good Kawhi really is. Radio Kev says Kawhi is a bad man because not only did he beat the 76ers, but he also overcame Lowry's bad juju. Facts right there. Facts. And that is facts and funny at the same time. Appreciate that. But that is true too. There is something with, especially with Lowry, but with DeRozan too. With DeRozan on the squad, there was just a bad mojo, especially not in the regular season. But there was a bad mojo in the playoffs, and it was continuous. It was definitely a continuous bad mojo between with those two players. Shout out to the greatest. Shout out to DJ Knox. There was a comment by Mocha here that I wanted to read that mentioned something about DeRozan. I wonder how DeMar DeRozan's feel about it right now. Yeah, he probably has mixed feelings because that was his former team that he probably does not want them to be that successful, but his partner Kyle Lowry is on that squad, so you got to feel kind of mixed feelings. Melvin says, "No, Ben, there is no way I'll be boo-hooing like that. We lost the series." I don't know, Melvin. I don't know. We say things, but when it happens, how do we react? But like I said, Embiid is going to get a whole bunch of memes because Embiid is a trash talker. And that's what happens to trash talkers. When something happens, you're going to get posterized because it's fair. It's fair. You do it to other people, so it's going to come around and come back to you. That's how life works, and that's how it works. So the Toronto Raptors move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 will be on Wednesday. They will be playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Hashtag fear the deer. Hashtag fear Giannis. That's what that should be. That's what the hashtag should be. Because Giannis is a man amongst boys. There is no one that I've seen that will be able to D up on Giannis. Maybe it was Embiid. But Marc Gasol, I don't think that's going to work. So Milwaukee may end up going to the finals just for that fact alone. Just for that fact alone, who's going to guard Giannis? That alone tells me that I think Fear the Deer is going to the finals. You got Marc Gasol, you got Serge Ibaka. That is basically it. So that's double teaming, maybe triple teaming. Whatever it is, you are going to have to figure out some kind of way to stop Giannis. And say you double team him, triple team him. That means Brogdon, Bledsoe, will have to hit some jumpers. George Hill will have to hit some jumpers. But I don't even know if that's going to happen. Shout out to Courtney Harden. Thank you for tuning in. Chief Rocka in the building. Thank you for tuning in.